Hey everyone, this is Substitute Topher today, filling in for TheTopher. We are driving the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLC300 4MATIC. This is sort of the third tier up for Mercedes SUVs. Of course, we have the GLA, GLB, GLC, GLE, and GLS. So this is the GLC300, 2-liter turbocharged, 4-cylinder engine, all-wheel drive. Pretty decent amount of legroom in the rear here. Do of course have MB techs. Base price on this is $45 grand. This one comes in right around 50. So this car has $5,000 in options on it. But until I looked at the window sticker, I was really struggling to see what they were. This thing is super base. I mean, it doesn't even have cooled seats. You can see there's a little spot there for it. We also don't have a moonroof. I thought that panoramic moonroofs were standard on all of these German luxury SUVs, so I was a little bit confused when I looked up and I didn't see one. Pretty basic spec, black exterior, gray interior. Also, you can see here we don't have the Burmester sound. We just have these plain little black speaker covers here. We will do a sound system test later in the video, so you'll be able to hear that. Also, if you look at the seat switches, I have 4 different controls here. This one does my little leg extender. This one does my headrest. The passenger side, this is dead. This doesn't do anything. The passenger only has 2 adjustments. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. This car is super base. The quality in here really is not the best. I'm not super impressed with just the way everything like feels and fits together. Ergonomically it's nice, but material wise it's a little iffy. But maybe it will make up for this in the driving portion. So let's go ahead and take this for a drive and see what it's like on the road. Like any other Mercedes, our shifter is right up here on the column. Push down all the way for drive, and we are off. It's very interesting to me to get into a car like this and see Mercedes on the steering wheel, because I've always kind of thought of Mercedes as super top of the line, and this is my first time driving a GLC, and I kind of expected more. I expected everything to be a little bit softer in here, a little bit more posh, and this car just isn't that. It's very comparable to, I would say, cars that are, oh lord, maybe $15,000 less. We had a Mazda CX-5 2 weeks ago, and that car was brilliant. And even with all of the options, it was about 38 grand, so $12,000 less than this car. Granted, this one is slightly longer. You have slightly more cargo space in this vehicle. As I mentioned earlier, powering the GLC is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 255 horsepower, 273 foot-pounds of torque. So not really crazy numbers there either. This thing also weighs in just under 4,000 pounds, so as you'd expect, it's really not that fast. It's kind of quick. I will demonstrate here, pulling out into all of this glorious construction. But I suppose it's about what you'd expect for a car with this badge in this class. You can, of course, get the GLE 53 or maybe 43 AMG, which has the turbo 6-cylinder engine, which may be the way to go with something like this. Not too bad. Pretty quiet in here in the cabin. A little bit of noise from the tires there. You can also take manual control with these paddles behind the steering wheel, though I have not found a way to set the car into a mode where you can lock the paddles in, other than just hitting the paddles. They are pretty responsive, not the most responsive paddles that I've ever driven, but not too shabby. Another thing that's a little bit odd about this car is the suspension tuning. It does this very weird thing when you go over potholes where the steering wheel vibrates in this very interesting manner that almost feels like it's triggering traction control. It's very hard to explain without actually sitting here with your hands on the steering wheel. But I almost wonder if it's something wrong with the car or if they're all like this, because it was very startling the first time it happened to me. I wasn't really expecting it. It almost feels like when your vehicle's fitted with lane departure warning and you're going out of a lane, it gives you a little, buzz on the steering wheel to let you know, hey, you're out of a lane. Yeah. I mean, it corners, but I think the Mazda CX-5 cornered a little bit better. Coming up to our next corner here. Now, there is a guardrail on this one, so we will be a little bit more careful. The steering is also a little vague. Oh, it just did the vibrating thing there. It's very strange. The steering is a little bit vague. I feel like I'm almost turning in and then the vehicle turns, like 0.2 seconds later. Also very interesting. I mentioned earlier lane departure warning, all of that stuff. This car has none of that. There's no driver aids of such on this GLC. This is a very, very standard car. I will say though, the engine and transmission tuning are very good. I'm not in sport mode, and it kicked down very nicely there. Rode the gear out pretty long. But if you would like to switch drive modes, we have a little switch down here that puts you into sport mode, sport plus mode, and then individual mode, which of course you can configure. Let's drive it in sport mode for a little bit and see how that feels. Feels like a little bit more aggressive throttle response. See how it kicks down out of this corner. It is downshifting slightly more aggressively here, as you can see. Not too bad, it's holding that gear as well. Wonder if we will have an open entrance ramp here. That would be nice if we did. Oh, we do. All right. Do 50? Oh yeah. Oh, a lot of understeer there. 55. Oh, okay. I keep referencing the Mazda CX-5, but yeah, the Mazda CX-5 held on a little bit better. All right, let's put her back into comfort. Settle her down. That's what she likes the best. And while we're exiting the highway, since we don't have any sort of lane keep assist or mitigation warning or anything like that to test, let's go ahead and test the sound system and see how this is. Now this will be interesting because it does not have the Burmester sound system. This will be a test of just the standard Mercedes audio system. So let's go ahead and click on our Spotify here, on our Apple CarPlay, which is not wireless and also not full screen. Just something interesting there. Let's get our volume turned up. will say the sound system is pretty impressive. It is way better than I was expecting when I got into this car. I saw there was no Burmester at all. I was very disappointed, but this sound system does not disappoint. It's very crisp. It's got nice highs, nice lows. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. Trying to just use words that Charlie from Daily Motor uses when he describes sound systems. But this one is not bad. You know, obviously it's not as good as the Burmester systems that you can get in these Benzes, but certainly not bad for a base sound system. Also, staying on track with the whole infotainment and everything here, I do like the way that all the buttons and everything are laid out. Mercedes always does a great job of just spacing everything out very nicely. It's not too busy here in the middle, yet not everything is controlled from the screen. We have our, seat controls over here, which is one less thing. Heated, cooled seats, you don't have to worry about that being in the middle. We've also got our climate down here as well. They're all nice little toggle switches that are satisfying to touch, and you don't feel like you're missing anything here. Also, we have this little mouse and touchpad down here, which it's okay, but the good thing is it's still a touchscreen system, so you can use your hands, to touch as well. You've also got a little touch-sensitive dial here on the steering wheel that you can also use. So you've got a lot of different ways that you can use the infotainment. I can back out of here to show you just the normal Mercedes infotainment screen. Not too bad. Pretty standard Mercedes. As you can see, it opens up to the whole screen this way, though. Makes nice little satisfying click noises when you scroll as well. I have no idea how to get back to Apple CarPlay, but that's not too important right now. So then, I guess to sum everything up, this car does a few things well. It's still nice. It's still a car that you could get in and be like, this is a nice daily driver. It's comfortable. The seats are comfortable. The MB Techs will hold up for years. And it's just tough because for $50,000, you can get a very, very nice Mazda CX-5, Hyundai Santa Fe, something that, just does things a little bit better. But to give Mercedes a little bit of leeway here, the GLC is a super outdated car. It's been around since 2016, so it is due for an update. And I'm sure that's something that we'll see in the coming, next model year or the model year following. I think once the GLC gets an update, we'll see a little bit more value, but as of right now, you could just go buy a 2018 or 2017 GLC that's certified pre-owned and spend, half the price that this car is? I'm sure they're high 20s, low 30s, and you could probably find one that had a moonroof, that has a moonroof. So that is going to pretty much sum up our drive of the GLC. Would like to drive an AMG model because AMG models always impress just slightly more, obviously. Go ahead and park here. We do have a camera for our parking and parking sensors as well. We can click our front view cam. Actually, that's rear view. That's also rear view. How do I get the front view? Oh, it's searching for a... Oh, is it going to park for me? Will it do it? How does it not see a parking space? We're about to run a branch over. Probably should not do that. Is it going to locate a parking space is the question. You know what? It's probably looking for a parallel parking space, which there aren't any of those here in this parking lot. And the car shuts off with the auto start stop. All right, everyone. Well, this has been the Mercedes GLC. This has been Substitute Topher / the Topher with a cold / 15-year-old Topher. Some people think I'm Chris's son. It's very interesting. Mercedes ambient lighting, that is a cool thing. And another disappointing thing, actually, if I can add one more thing before I go here, there's no ambient lighting that I can see on the dash. We do have it under these little trim pieces right here and over the window switches and on the floor, but I always like it when they have it go around the whole dash. It's pretty cool. Also, make sure you don't forget your key. There we go. I don't know, everyone. What do you think? Would you buy a GLC? Would you buy a new GLC? Probably not. I don't think I would. But it's here if you'd like to. $50,000 in all of its glory. It certainly isn't a bad-looking car, I wouldn't say. And on that note, thank you all so much for watching. This is Substitute Topher signing out for TheTopher. You guys will be back to your scheduled TheTopher content very soon. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.